Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
What's going on, folks? Welcome to Got Your Back post-game live stream edition. The Oilers spit the bits against a division rival. Couldn't even salvage a point. Last-minute goal, the Vegas Golden Knights hopping on a plane, feeling pretty good about themselves. 4-2 the final score. Jason Strudwick is standing by. He's going to dive in. We'll break this one down. Rob Brown will join us in a little while. I am coming at you from our mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio. Did you know Adrenaline Diesel is a Caterpillar recognized and authorized dealer and repair facility? For expert service for your Cat engine, visit adrenalinediesel.ca. And as always, our show is brought to you by our title sponsor, Play Alberta. Skate over to playalberta.ca to get on odds boosts, player props, and other ways to make game time more interesting. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with code GYB11. That is code GYB11. Visit playalberta.ca. Zuby, finally some respect. Zuby, a respectable picture for me on the post-game pod. I was getting chirped nonstop about that weenie of a picture you had up for me before, man. I was just getting ripped. My brothers, everybody was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I didn't pick it. It wasn't me."
I was never trolling you with that picture. I think maybe it's a little bit too fashion magazine. Can't think of one off the. Maybe it's a little too glamour, whatever the It's a little too GQ. As I finally come up with a men's fashion magazine, but it wasn't meant to troll.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice photo.
I think as co-host, Struds, as co-host, it was your responsibility to put an end to that way sooner than you did, Struds.
Well, listen, you sound like you're laying in front of the bus when I'm getting run over. So when you're taking off the chin, I'm like, right this way. I'm waving the guy through. I'm right this way, gentlemen or ladies. Run this guy over.
See, that flies right in the face of our core value. I will remind you guys, the name, the theory, the doctrine of our podcast is Got Your Back, which means we have to have each other's backs. If nobody else does, we have to have each other's backs more than that, you guys.
That's true.
Yeah, in theory, for sure. There's no doubt about it. But, if someone's getting backed up a couple times, I'm like, I'd take a shot at him. Let him have it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Chris R's already calling me a sellout on the stream. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you bailed on the picture? Well, yeah. I'm driving now, so you could flip it back in there anytime, and I wouldn't even know. I'm on the way home here, so do your worst, I suppose, Zuby. As I said, Rob Brown will join us in a little bit. Hey, we got a great show lined up. Not a great game for Oiler fans, for sure. We'll break that down. But on top of that, we'll have Brownie. We will have Struddy's World and Brownie Points, all your favorite segments. Also, on our core Blue Line segment, Strud's going to do a deep dive on one of the Oiler Blue Liners tonight. So that's coming up, as well as Ask Us Anything and Take a Lap. Should be a jam-packed show and lots of sound from the Oiler locker room, which I just finished up in as well. We'll hear what some of the fellas are saying. But Struddy, if you can grab the Alberta Ram Dealers ad read there, we will get to our breakdown, brought to you by our good buddies over at Alberta Ram Dealers.
Ram trucks continue to deliver with power, style, and innovation. The 2025 Ram 1500 features a bold new powertrain, a redesigned exterior, and state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. See a Ram dealer today.
All right, good stuff, buddy. Okay, Struds, there's a whole game to break down and such, but that thing fell apart in that third period. I think there's a combination of things to start with. Maybe from the Nugent-Hopkins penalty, the goal against, and then the dagger at the end of the game. But I'll kind of lay it out there for you. But just on a night that you knew was going to be a tight game against a good team, the details just kind of got away from the Oilers a little bit there at the end.
It was a great game. The Oilers are playing a great game, and then they had two breakdowns that led to a win, 2-1 win, or probably a 3-1 win with an empty netter, to now 4-2 loss. I thought they played a really good game. I liked so many parts of their game. I was taking notes like, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is a playoff hockey, because it was a playoff hockey game. And then you talk about the penalty in the offensive zone, and you can debate, was it a penalty or not? You know what? Kulak tripped ankle at one point, and that didn't get called. So sometimes you just.
But wait a sec, though, Struds. Who's debating whether that was a penalty or not? I mean, you reach out, like, all due respect to Ryan. Well, I know he didn't. Of course, he didn't love the call.
Yeah.
But like, you reach out and you grab the guy's arm, the arm that everybody can see. There's nothing subtle about it. It's not even an attempt. You literally reach out and grab the guy's arm 200 feet from your nets at a key point in the game. Like, I'm sorry. If fans are nitpicking about that call, that is not a smart play to make. From a player who's generally very smart and doesn't take a lot of bad ones, that's all 93 for me.
Yeah, that's a tough one. There's no doubt it's a tough penalty to take. Then again, the penalty kill, they're actually doing a pretty good job. And then there's a point shot that needs to be stopped. That is warned by Skinner, that he's got to save that puck. I've been on plenty of penalty kills, and that wasn't a threatening shot. It wasn't going off top corner. I don't know if he was blocked by a view he couldn't see, or it surprised him. But as a penalty killer, I look back, like, you got to have that one, man. Like, I'm going to make mistakes, you're going to make mistakes, but that's one you have to save. In that moment, they needed that save.
Especially on a penalty kill that has really been like, man, they're just scrambling for their lives to try and, make some good things happen and get a little bit of traction. And, I'll be honest with you, I kind of feel bad about a question I asked Matthias Ekholm like 20 minutes ago. Because and I don't think we have the sound, but I asked him about the penalty kill. And I just said, I know you guys are working on it, Matthias. Like, is there a common theme to some of what's going wrong? And I kind of wanted an overarching thought on the penalty kill.
I do have that sound, Shogger, if you want me to play it.
Oh, you have that exact answer?
Yeah, I pulled that one too. Yeah.
Like, in hindsight, I don't really love the question, because as he points out, rightfully so, the penalty kill wasn't the problem there. It was the goaltender. And I kind of put him in position to, and he did kind of lean in on that a little bit. He clearly, felt the shot should have been stopped too. But, I agree with you, Struds. It wasn't the kill on that one. It was more the goaltending. But let's get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here for the first time. Zuby, go ahead and roll the clip, and we'll do the ad read and stuff after. But here's Matthias Ekholm off of not a great question from me.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought today we did a decent job on it. I thought we were in lanes. I thought we were, we were sacrificing our bodies out there, trying to get in lanes, trying to obviously get it going, and then seemed like a little bit of a wrister on the ice that kind of found the back of the net, and that's just kind of the way it's been going. So it has to stop. It has to stop right now, and we're working hard to fix it. But as I said earlier, there's moments in the game that we do really well, and those are the ones we gotta do more of. And then there's things in the game that we can do better, and that's what we got to learn from. And it's early in the year, and I mean, we played a really good opponent. Obviously, we would have liked a different outcome, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, and again, not a great question by me. I credit Ekholm for kind of bringing it around. And remember, Struds, he and Skinner are tight. Like, they're good buddies. But he basically said there, like, yeah, that was a wrist shot that ended up in the back of the net.
Yeah, I think, listen, he's a really good teammate, and you never, ever throw your team under the bus. But, I don't want to speak for him, but I felt like he said, I think he said, we're doing a good job, and then one got by our goalie. And I just said it clearly in my own words. That's a puck that needs to be saved. I'm sure Skinner would say the same thing. Like this, it happens. But in that moment, in that time when they were battling like that and actually doing a good job on the kill, you need your goalie to come up with a save. So And then then it rolled into the next goal. So it was a great game. Again, if you didn't watch the game, people, the Oilers played a great game, except for about 3 or 4 minutes. I loved their game tonight. I love their game tonight. Loved their game tonight.
Strud.
That's
See,
playoff style game.
So,
loved it.
So some of my pushback would be, I thought there was, and I know you got to give Vegas some credit here. I don't know. I thought it took them a little bit to get going. I thought there kind of was some sloppiness and some odd man rushes. Like it felt like Vegas, kind of had a free pass through the middle of the ice in the Oilers zone and generated like multiple really good chances off of it. And I didn't think defensively the Oilers were really that locked down to. I'm not saying they were terrible, Struds, but I feel like you're throwing the word great around a little loosely.
Yeah, no, I thought they had a great game. I didn't see it that way at all. I mean, how many great chances did Vegas have? Like really, really good chances around, on the half court offense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not many. So we can dissect the first goal against and break that down. I think the Oilers gave that goal. They served that one up on a platter, and people might be surprised who I think was at fault there. I've already went through the second goal. The third goal, same thing, gave that goal up. But how many great chances did they have? That felt like a playoff game. I thought the intensity got higher as the game went on. I don't know. I really liked their game. I thought they spent a long time in the offensive zone. I thought they had lots of chances. The Paul Colson line with the dry side line with Paul Colson and Arvidsson. That might have been their best game as a trio. I thought they had multiple chances. They were working really well together. I liked Henrique's line with Nugent. I thought they had the fourth line was good. Like I don't know. If they win this game 3-1, I think we're coming in here playing a different song. But I'm going to say, except for 3-4 minutes, I thought they always played a really, really good game. It looked way more under control, and I liked their game tonight.
Yeah. So you've downgraded it to really good now from great.
Great. No, I'll say great. I honestly, great is maybe a bit much to say when they lose, but honestly, I liked tons of their game today, a lot of their game.
And so in fairness to you, I mean, we were asking the players, how do you think you played tonight? And I think Kulak said, I don't think we played great, but I think we played a good game and da-da-da-da-da. Ekholm actually, probably a little more in line with you, Struds. I think Matthias Ekholm felt pretty good about their overall game, outside of a couple of breakdowns in that last minute. So we were kind of splitting hairs, but definitely take your point there. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to hear from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the penalty and on his night, but let's get to that in a second, Struds, because let's focus in on the goals a little bit. I do want to hear who you felt was at fault on the one, and then maybe a thorough breakdown of the game winner and what exactly you thought went wrong there.
Sorry, Struddy, just before you do that, Shogger, can I interrupt? Shogger, your mic is crackling quite a bit. I wonder if you can I know you're driving, if you can triple check your connections and just make sure it's not like leaning,
here.
And hopefully we can clean it up a little bit for the people at home. I probably should have jumped in sooner, but
that's okay, buddy. How is it right now? Like, how does it sound right now? Is it still crackling?
There it's good, but at the start of when you were speaking, it was crackling.
Okay, that sounds good. So it might just be that I just have to have the wire positioned differently here. So, but yeah, a few more minutes of this and Struds can do most of the talking. Struds, go ahead and hit it, buddy.
First goal against, everyone's going to blame old Evan Bouchard, the old man Bouch. Well, guess what? I think I've said it before, never trust a forward. And
I knew you were going to say this. I told the rest of the media. I said I can already hear Struds.
No.
I can already hear Struds saying never trust a forward.
Never. You never trust them. You never, ever trust them. Even that forward is your own mother. You still don't trust them. So let's see what happened here. It was basically a 3-on-3, right? Ekholm, Bouchard, and Skinner against three Vegas players. Bouchard is standing up on the Vegas player on the wall. He's got his guy. Skinner's close to the guy who eventually scores a goal. And I think he lost an edge or kind of turned. And all of a sudden, Eichel gets three and it's over. But that's his guy. That's the guy. Now, I will fault Bouchard for not. I don't feel he was communicating that clearly enough. I would have pointed. That's your guy. That's your guy over there. Take that guy. But he stands up on his guy, and he should be clear after that. They weren't. And I know people are going to say, no, it's Bouchard. He's been brutal all year. I disagree. Forwards have to work to get back, and that was his guy.
Yeah, I think Nielsen and Whitney, I think both piled on to Bouchard after the game pretty good tonight, and in particular for that goal. What about the other one, Struds? Like the game winner in the last minute that just, man, did the air ever come out of that building? Holy snap.
Yeah, really tough situation. So, they have a long shift in the offensive zone, long shift, stumped in, and the Oilers forwards all change. Old Bouchard is kind of looking at the puck. It's puck focused, while other players are trying to get back onto the ice or get back from from changing, or when not changing, whatever the case is. And Hanifin just sneaks in a great play to pass it back to him. And there are 3 Oilers around him, but not on him. And he gets the shot off and scores. So it's that, you can't all change. And I know they're tired. I get it. It looks like nothing's going on. But you can't all change at the same time as forwards. Someone has to come back and just fill the middle space of the ice. I guess alternatively, Ekholm could have just, he kind of doesn't get the puck stopped in the corner. Maybe they were expecting that stop. So it's a collection of errors that adds to a really good opportunity for a guy who's feeling it in Hanifin.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I want to do? Let's save more Ryan Nugent-Hopkins analysis for takeaways, because I'd love to get Rob Brown in as part of that as well. But let's get back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here, Struds. And Zuby, I believe we have what do we have Chris Knobloch on, bud? I apologize. I can't remember exactly what we asked for, but something not Nugent-Hopkins related, because we'll save that.
It is what you asked for was Nugent-Hopkins, him on Nugent.
So I have teed up a clip that does not exist right now.
Correct, yes.
Which is, that's classic Rishaug producing on the fly here from the car. All right, no worries. Okay, well, let's just get to it then. We can still ask Brownie about it. But bottom line, Struds, the penalty and the overall play, it's been a bit of a struggle here for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So, Struddy, give us the Weiss Johnson read.
Yeah, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. From now until November 22nd, get 20% off all garage heater installs. Help makes your life more comfortable. From a warm car or toasty man cave, contact Weiss Johnson today to get in on this great deal now. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Okay, Zuby, let's go Nugent-Hopkins on the penalty, and then I also asked him about overall how he's feeling about his game.
I don't want to get into it too much. I mean, he makes a call. I feel like I'm trying to just make a play on it. Obviously, from his angle, it's a penalty, and he calls it. Tough time to take it. It's as a killer, especially the way it's kind of gone so far for us. It's not fun being in that penalty box, especially at that time. We've worked so hard the rest of the game, so obviously would like to have that one back.
And this is Nuge on his overall game.
I feel like I'm still creating stuff and getting my looks. It's not going in. But this is not the first time I've gone through something like this. You play a long time in this league. You go through tough stretches. There's a lot of hockey left in the season for us as collectively and individually. So I know I'm going to put my head down and keep working, and expect the same from this group for sure.
All right, and Zuby, did I ask for Knobloch on Nugent-Hopkins as well?
You did.
Okay, yeah, and you have that.
Yeah. Yes.
Should we play that? Why don't we play that?
Why not?
Zuby?
Why not?
Okay. Let's play Chris Knobloch.
I know I thought their line
so smooth.
had some chances in the first period, maybe some in the second, and that's unfortunate with the penalty. 200 feet away, it's tough to take an offensive zone penalty from your net, which when we had the lead. But I think with Ryan, it's been not that he's playing bad. I've seen him play better. I've seen him play much better. But, you know, I think I can say that for our team as a whole.
All right. Struds, let's save the overall discussion on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and where he's at. Interested to know what you think as well, to everybody on the live stream with us. Send us your thoughts on where Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' game is at right now. How far off do you think he is? We'll work some of that into the next segment as well, and Rob Brown will join us. Struds, right now, let's get to our Relentless player of the game, brought to you, Struddy, by our good friends over at UCAN Youth Services.
An Edmonton charity relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and get employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. And not surprising, I'm going to go with one member of a line I thought that had a really good game tonight, and that's Arvidsson. I thought that Arvidsson was on it. You know, he had the incredible save by Aiden Hill, you know, off of a sweet pass from Paul Goldson. Driving the net, he was on it, you know, giving hits. I really liked his game today. I thought he had a real buzz, and that line, to me, it's looking good. They seem to be gelling. I know we expected to be Skinner instead of Paul Goldson, but Paul Goldson, I think he is starting to make a believer of me to be on that line.
Yeah, interesting. But to your point on Arvidsson, he's also not afraid to take a tight line to the net and run over a goalie. Hey, he did that twice tonight. Where, I mean, I know he collided with a defender, but like sharp angle through the crease and kind of wiped out the corner of the goalie.
Yeah, he did, and he had I think he had 5 or 6 shots tonight. Like he's getting to that, and I think one of the things when you play Vegas, it can lull you to sleep a bit because they kind of let you have the outside. Right? They don't let you kind of get to the middle of the ice. So when you see a guy like Arvidsson, as you're talking about, streaking to the net, cutting to the net, or getting open, like that's how you have to beat Vegas, because they'll allow you to play outside the dots. And you feel, oh man, that was a great shift. Well, we didn't have a shot. Okay, but at least we're in their zone. You've got to get in, penetrate, and I thought that he did a good job.
All right, that was our Relentless player of the game, Struddy. I'm just getting back to the house now, so I'm going to get off this bad mic and.
All right, we lost him. Should we do a poll? Let's do a poll.
Let's do the poll. All right,
okay.
Poll is brought to you by our good buddies at DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after-sale support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Go down and check out their pro shop style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street, Edmonton. So, Zoobs, what have you got for a poll tonight, my man?
I was prepared with this. I made this shot. I made this shot for tonight, so I didn't end up with Schauger's camera waving around all over the place like I had last night for a couple of minutes. So, okay, so here's the poll I sent, but I made up this poll after I saw the first comments coming in on the chat before we were even live, and I was sensing the frustration, not surprisingly. So I wanted to go on that theme, the frustration. So I'm asking Oiler fan tonight, whose game are you most frustrated with right now? And the options are Jeff Skinner, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evan Bouchard, or also special teams in general. Not a specific player, but there's the special teams frustrating you. So it's about frustrating. Who's frustrating you right now?
So what's the wording? Is it frustrating me now, like tonight, or all year? What is that wording?
Whose game are you most frustrated with is what I said. I think I mean like, okay. Let's talk like recent history, maybe not tonight, although there's going to be some recency bias there.
Yeah, and that's the problem. The recency bias will sting. I'm guessing Bouchard's probably leading that. Just guessing, but I think that the specialty teams, I think, is something that that's been all year, right? It hasn't been up to par. 32nd on the penalty kill. I mean, that is compared to where they were last year. It's incredible. Yeah, absolutely incredible. And they're tonight they didn't get a save. And, Skinner's done it many times. He has, but tonight you've got to have that for your teammate. And I'm sure that will haunt him tonight as he goes into his California closets and takes his suit off. But, that's a tough one. So, I think Skinner, Jeff Skinner has been playing, he's they were okay today. I think that line beside McDavid, Bouchard's had his moments. I think that there's another gear there, and I think he's a bit like Nugent-Hopkins. I think both those guys, I think they played a lot last year, and I think they're a little bit just kind of working themselves into regular season shape. They're not, and not to suggest they're out of shape, but I just think they're a little bit in a fog. And I think a lot of fans are in a fog as well. It's just that the fogs don't get paid to get out of that fog quickly.
Yeah. For me, it's probably Nuge, and especially the penalty. It's to me, that's a penalty and one you don't need to take. And so that really, accentuated that tonight. And the special teams, the power play is sure frustrating. I feel like the penalty kill, I want to say that I feel like they've been unlucky, but as someone just mentioned, it's almost a coin flip right now. So I don't think you could be that unlucky. They're in like 50 something % now, I think, after tonight. So
it's incredible.
Luck, there's only so much luck to drop you down that far. It's
absolutely incredible. Like I'm not kidding you. It is like historically bad penalty killing.
Yeah.
And you go through and you look at, okay, well, is it the goaltender? Yeah, you could make a couple saves. Can we win a few more draws? Yeah, you could. Can you clear it a little bit better? Yeah, block shots. Like, it's not one thing. It's not like, you want to go on a weight loss program and you just love chips. I got to get chips out of my weight loss. Like, for this, there's everything and anything. It has gone wrong. And I think we had a clip from was it Ekholm a couple games ago, or maybe it was the coach Knobloch, but everything's going sideways. Everything has gone sideways for this group. So sooner or later, that's got to change. Oh, we got Rishaug back.
Hey, sorry about that. That took a little longer than I thought.
No worries.
Have we done the break? Are we back for takeaways, or are you still doing the poll?
We're just finishing up some poll chit chat. So let's go to the break. We'll get Brownie in here, and I'll get out of this spot, and Brownie's lovely picture on the boat can get in.
Okay, perfect. Good stuff. All right, takeaways when we come back.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
All right, time now for our takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Year-end savings are now available on John Deere Gator side-by-sides and John Deere compact utility tractors. Visit Horizon Ag and Turf online or at one of their 13 locations across Alberta. Horizon Ag and Turf, your local John Deere experts. As we welcome to the program, Rob Brown. Brownie, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing very good.
Good. Thank you for joining us. Settle a mild disagreement between Jason Strudwick and I early on in the show. That's the beauty of having a third host, is you can break ties when we're having disagreements. Would you characterize the Oiler game tonight as pretty good, or, other than the last minute, a great game by the Oilers?
Oh, I don't think it was a great game. No. I thought the first period, it was evenly played, but the Oilers made the one big mistake that Skinner Bouchard turned into a breakaway. I thought the second period, the Oilers were the better team and deserve it of a 2-1 lead. But in the third period, Vegas was much better. Vegas deserved that victory. They were the better team in the third period. I thought they controlled play in the third. So I would have said it was a pretty good game, that they were a minute away from getting a point, but I didn't think they played a great game, no.
Mm-hmm. I'll come off the top rope. I think they were great tonight. I liked a lot of stretch, but they were guilty of the big mistakes. And there's 3 big mistakes by the group tonight. But I thought for long stretches, they had controlled the play in the offensive zone. I thought actually, maybe not all 4 lines. I thought the second, third, and fourth line had good stretches in the offensive zone, making plays. They were attacking. And because usually what Vegas does is they clog up the inside between the dots. And I thought the Oilers were doing, extra effort to get inside the dots, to get chances, to get to the net and try to score. And they could have had definitely more goals than they had. And a couple of nice saves by Eden Hill. So I really like this game tonight. I think if they don't give up the power play goal, we're probably talking about a 3-1 win today and about how well they played. So, obviously you got to count that they lost and all that, but I really like the way they played tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the first 40 minutes. I thought in the second period the Oilers controlled the play, and they were in Vegas's end the whole time, and Vegas was trying to survive the second period. But the third period, I don't think the Oilers were good. They had one fantastic chance, and that's when Aiden Hill made an all-world save on Arvidsson. But other than that, the Oilers' power play didn't look good. They gave up again another penalty-killing goal. Their best players looked out of sync. They were losing battles. I mean, the game-winning goal, Ekholm lost a battle to Barbashev. And not only did he lose it, he lost it so clean that Barbashev had time and space to make a play. And that was about a minute after Hanifin had the exact same shot where the Oilers lost Hanifin before that. So, no, I think that this was a game that the Oilers were good for 40 minutes. But I thought the third period, the better team was the team that came out with 2 points at the end of the night. I didn't think the Oilers were near as good in the third period as they needed to be in a game that they had a lead and were kind of desperate for 2 points. I don't think they played with the desperation in the third period.
Yeah. Brownie, we'll get your take on a couple of the goals here. I don't want to just repeat what we had talked about in the last segment entirely. So one of the conversations that we were saving, because I wanted to get you in on it, was on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So both Struds and I agreed, whether you like the call or not, he can't make that play on that penalty. I just thought that was very uncharacteristic of him. He doesn't do that a lot, but that's all on him to my eye. The offense has not been there. It's been a tough go for him. So, let's maybe open up that conversation, guys. Like, where are we on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins tonight, but also overall here? Because he found himself, I'll say the word demoted to third-line center, right? It was not in the top 6. And I don't know if the coach was wanting to send a message or what the reasoning there was, if he thought there'd be something there with that line. But bottom line, out of their top 6. So, Struds, what's your take on all things 93 at the moment?
Well, someone mentioned last time they thought to put Nugent-Hopkins on the third line. So again, I mean, I don't know who this guy is, but maybe he should be a coach someday. I like that line. I thought that line had I thought it had more offensive chances than we'd seen, in previous couple games. Nugent-Hopkins there, set up Henrique for a really nice chance, short side that maybe if Henrique gets it up, maybe there's a better chance. It'd be more Brownie's area. But there was some jump there. And I thought it brought a little bit of balance to that third line and offensive punch. So I'd like to see that happen again. As far as Nuge, I'm on record. I honestly still think that he's recovering from a long run last year, a short summer, and I don't think he's quite where he hasn't played badly. He's just not what we're used to, and his quickness and darting in and out of spots, Brownie.
I agree. I think, first of all, it was a bad penalty to take. 200 feet from your net, you took your hand, you grabbed the defenseman's arm, and you pulled it off his stick right in front of the ref. He's going to call it. Or you've given him the opportunity to call it. In a close game, you can't do that, and he knows better. Especially, he's probably their best penalty killer that's been taken off the ice. The problem when you get to a point where you're considered a star in the league, and Nugent, he had a 100-point season, your bar is higher. And for a player, once you get there, the expectation is you're going to be that good all the time. I think Nugent-Hopkins has been okay this year, but we know what his bar is. He hasn't been as good as we've seen him in the past. He hasn't been as good as he was in the playoffs. And one of the reasons they moved him down to the third line, I don't think it's because Knobloch is watching, got your back, and listening to Jason Strudwick. I think they're realizing they got McDavid coming back from an injury. They need to jumpstart the offense. They need more offense in their top six, and they felt Skinner would give them more than Nugent-Hopkins would. So Nugent-Hopkins has been okay, but he is a much better player than okay. So I think he has underperformed this year to his capabilities.
You get Connor McDavid coming back into the lineup. Big boost. Opportunity to just throw that line back together and start fresh, and off you go. To me, this felt like a bit of a message sent. Not necessarily a great idea, like, oh, I think this will work great and is the perfect, great line. I think it's more like, yeah, you're going to have to watch Vasily Podkolzin and Jeff Skinner hop over the boards before you go. I think, a little bit of a message sent. I think that this had something to do with that, because with McDavid coming back, it would have been too easy in his first game back just to reunite that line. So I like that Knobloch did it. My thought might have been, though, if you were going to bump Nugent-Hopkins down the lineup a little bit, I mean, I would like, since you've got him at center and you're going with the three-headed monster, maybe kick Henrique up. You haven't tried it yet. Give it a go. And maybe give him an opportunity with one of the high-skilled guys, Struds.
Yeah, no, I think that he's the third-line guy. I really feel that way. And I think Skinner, he's the guy you want to get up there and get him going and learning how to play with those guys. He was here to be a top six forward, right? He's not here to be a third-line winger. So I think he's got to figure out how to play with them. Right now, I think Podkolzin's moved into a spot where you let's see some more. Like, I think you're like, hey, let's play him again with Draisaitl. Let's play him again. Right now, I don't think Skinner has that with either of those two guys. So there's a chance for him tonight. And I said at the top, I thought the top line was the weakest, or not the weakest, but the least successful of the four lines that played for the Oilers tonight, Brownie.
Well, okay, and I agree with a lot of what you said. The only problem that I'm seeing right now for those, I love the effort of Podkolzin and Arvidsson. I do. It is, you get 100% of them every single night. But the Oilers have played 14 games. Leon Draisaitl's wingers have a combined 1 goal on the season. Arvidsson's got 1 goal. Podkolzin's got 0. I mean, we on the Ched show, we took phone call after phone call about Yamamoto. Yeah, he works hard, but he doesn't produce. They need to upgrade in the second line because Yamamoto's not getting it done offensively. And he had more than these two have. Again, I love Podkolzin. I love Arvidsson, what they do. But it's 14 games into the season. They've got 1 goal. Arvidsson has been in the top 6 almost every game. Podkolzin's new to it. But the production isn't there. And if you want to look at reasons why the Oilers are averaging 2 goals a game on the season, I mean, your second line, and if you look at the other side, Vegas' second line, their 2 wingers are combined 13 goals. And the Oilers have got 1. So I have no problem with what you said, Schauger, giving Henrique a look on the second line, because right now they are getting chances, Arvidsson and Podkolzin, but they're not finding the back of the net.
Yeah, we're getting a bit of disagreement on the stream as well. M. Materi says, no, Schauger, Henrique is okay, but he's not a top 6. And then followed up with, are you guys drunk? Little heavy-handed at the end there, M. Materi. Nope, can confirm I am not, but thanks for that. Aaron St. Pierre thinking Henrique is too slow to be in that position. So people not loving that idea. M. Materi also coming back and saying Yamamoto was great. He was tenacious. So he may be more of a fan of Kyler Yamamoto in that spot. Interesting. You make great points, though, Brownie, like Leon Draisaitl to have wingers that have combined 1 goal. And remember, you almost ran me off my own show in the preseason when I suggested that Podkolzin might elevate up into the top 6, Brownie. You literally almost hung up the phone and said you wouldn't come back onto the show.
And he's 14 games into the season. He's got 0 goals. That's why I said he shouldn't be in the top 6. He is a fantastic 4th-line winger. I love everything about him, but he's not there's no production. And the Oilers right now, they went out this summer and spent a lot of money on two guys to give Leon a second line wingers. And they're not playing with one, and the other guy's got one goal on the season. This is one of the reasons the Oilers right now are where they are, is their second line has gotten zero production.
Yeah. To be fair, just to jump in there. To be fair, how many goals does Nuge have? How many does Connor have? How many does Hyman have? Like, there's a general. I used to keep using the word fogginess in that top six. Like, the only guy who's really probably producing at close to his normal rate would be Leon Brownie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you've got two guys that have played. It's 14 games in, and Arvidsson's got one goal. He's got 4 points. 3 of them came in one game. The other 13 games, he has one goal, playing in your top six with Leon Draisaitl. So, it's not good enough.
I'm not debating that.
So, to me,
but I'm not debating that.
Yeah.
I'm debating that the whole top six isn't going except for Leon, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, there's no one's going.
But I'm
so
thinking,
we can't just cherry pick those two guys.
I think some changes.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's, but no one's scoring, right? No one's really unleashed the beast. Maybe again, Leon's the only guy I'd say that's really got it up to close to what we're expecting.
Yeah. What do we think of McDavid tonight in his return? Brownie, I'll go to you first on that.
Okay. Again, like I said with Nugent-Hopkins, when you're a superstar, like, his bar is so high. I mean, he's the best player in the world, so you expect best player in the world every night. He showed a couple spurts, mishandled the puck a couple times. He was fine. I don't think he was great. I think he was good for a mere mortal. He was pretty good. For Connor McDavid, he was probably below average for what we normally get from Connor McDavid.
Swamping him. They were sending multiple people at him to slow him down and get in his way. And that's the Vegas way, right? When you think about, go back to the playoffs, was it last year? They try to just close in on him as quick as they can before he can get to speed up and find some space.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's shift gears a little bit. Not that we're going to try and put lipstick on the pig or anything, but I do want to talk about the blue line a little bit here. And I know, Struds, you're going to dig in on Ty Emberson in our core blue liner segment coming up in a little bit here. But I want to ask you guys impressions. They're doing a lot of flip-flopping here with the pairings, right? So you got Darnell Nurse out with Brett Kulak one shift, and then he's out with Troy Stetcher, and then Kulak's out with Emberson, and then back with Nurse. And they're kind of flip-flopping Kulak all over the place here. But I think he had a pretty good night tonight. 23-48 for Brett Kulak tonight, playing basically on multiple pairings through the game. I thought it was a pretty good night for him. But I don't know, Struds, were you kind of shaking your head too at all of the craziness with the flip-flopping and the pairs and right and left and all over the place?
That's hard. That's hard to keep track of. I know there's only 6 D-men, and generally they're the smartest people on the team, but it is a challenge because sometimes you forget, you forget who is where, who's playing what, who's with the guy, who's with this guy and that guy. But, Kulak skates so well. Why not just put him on the right side beside Nurse? Like, he gets around so well. And one of the challenge, I think, when you're offside is that things take a little longer to bring the puck over to make a forehand pass. But he skates so well. That gives him time to skate away from whatever he needs to create a little space to make a pass. So I would like to see them just embrace it. Go full Kulak on the right side. Say, you're going to play with him. I know he doesn't want to play the right side, but he looks pretty good over there because he skates so well. The problem is after that, now you got, what you got,
Emberson,
Dermott,
Emberson,
so maybe you have to, maybe it's easier if it works out. Maybe you find a left shot defenseman to play with Emberson, right?
So you had 2 lefties on one pairing and 2 righties on the other.
Yeah,
when they were doing that.
But just embrace it because they had quite a few. I thought, I don't know, guys, 2-3 shifts each, a period together, like Kulak and Nurse, and I thought it looked pretty decent.
Yeah.
So, Struds, I thought Kulak was the best player for the Oilers tonight, and I thought it was by far.
Oh, wow.
I thought he had an excellent hockey game. I thought he was very, very good. I thought he looked comfortable when he was out with Nurse. He's jumping up in the play. And I know he scored the goal on the tip. The tip was great, but he was the one that kept the puck in earlier on that play to be able to create the play down low. He came all the way down to the bottom of the circle and kept the puck down low. So I thought Kulak was excellent. The problem is when he and Nurse play together, your third pairing is going to have to be a very sheltered pairing. And you can do that on home ice, but I think if you go on the road and put Kulak and Nurse together and that third pairing gets stuck out on an icing or something like that, now all of a sudden here comes JT Miller on the ice to go against Stetcher and Emberson or Dermott and Emberson, and that's where you find yourself getting into a bit of trouble.
And just to be clear, Darnell Nurse at even strength. So Brett Kulak played 15:30 at even strength with Darnell Nurse, and he played 4:55 with Ty Emberson. So the bulk of his night at even strength was with Darnell Nurse, but they were, again, it was like they were sliding him out there on multiple pairings at portions through that game. I thought Nurse was decent tonight as well. He was 23-53. Overall, the Oilers had a more active night, right? 29 hits they threw. I think there was a better level of compete maybe there than we had seen on previous nights. Okay, that was Takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Lots more still ahead. When we come back, we're going to dig in on Struddy's world. Brownie is going to hand out some Brownie points. Ask us anything as well. We got lots taking a lap. Lots of show left, so stay with us here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolanddentistry.com.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. God, I look good.
All right, time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House Developments. When you become part of the Timber House family, you might be surprised just how close you will get to the people in the process. If you want to check in on things or chat with the crew at head office, stop by anytime. They're not one of those builders that shoos you off the job site, right? You're the most important person in the home building process, and you will be treated as such. Visit timberhouse.ca. If you build with Timberhouse, you will never find yourself saying,
"Yeah, get no respect."
All right. Injuries happen on the ice, and sometimes you're hurt and sometimes you're injured. But I feel like more and more I see players now, when something happens on the ice, they walk down the tunnel right away. Why? What is down the tunnel that's going to fix you up? How do you know how bad you are? How do you know how good you are? I think it's wise to just go and sit on the bench and take stock of it. Now, I'm not talking about the situation with Dylan Holloway the other night. That was a scary one, and that's different. You get hit in the neck, it's pretty scary. I'm talking about blocking a shot. I'm talking about you get hit, and we see guys just walk down. We saw two others walk down the tunnel today, then they walked right back out. Just stay on the bench. Just see how it feels. Maybe it'll go away. Usually it does go away. Not always, but usually it does go away. And it's not just, I've seen other teams do it. Guys just walk down that tunnel. There must be that magical soccer potion that they spray to cool things off to make guys feel better back there and to turn it around. So really, I'm not looking for anyone to tell me I'm right or wrong. I know I'm right or right. Just stay on the bench. Unless you're truly hurt, don't leave the bench. Enough's enough, guys.
So Janmark tonight did it. Who else did it?
Stetcher.
Did Stetcher? But Stetcher didn't come back, did he?
No, I don't think so. I think Stetcher was done for the night.
With his foot, I thought he did come back. He didn't come back. Okay, my bad. I'll take that one back. I feel bad.
I don't think so.
Sorry, Troy.
I don't think he came back. But
okay, my bad.
Anyway, but I do agree with you, Struggs. It is something that we see more of, and it's like, I don't know, maybe they got to walk it off. Maybe there's some moral support back there. Maybe they want to yell in pain, and they don't want to do that on the bench. Maybe I don't know, Brownie. What's down the tunnel, bud?
Well, I don't know. When I played, all the arenas were so old, we never had tunnels. So I've never had one where I could walk down.
Yeah, you had to skate to the other side.
Honestly, when I played, you were on the bench, and you just you took an evaluation of your body on the bench, and the trainer would come whisper something here, and then for me, it also depended. Like I never wanted to go down the tunnel because I didn't want to miss a shift because someone might go out there and do better than me, and I don't get my next shift. So. It is funny though. I do know what you're talking about, Struds, and it happens more and more. Because tonight when Janmark left, I thought he was done. I really did. Yeah. And then Troy and our engineer, he's the one that said, "Oh no, he's back. He's back on the bench." But I'm like, "Oh wow, I thought he was gone." So it is an odd thing that's happened recently because all the new arenas have the tunnel that's right by the benches.
Emma Terry says, I lost a bottom tooth yesterday night, which I believe Emma Terry is also known as last night. Not sure why we went with yesterday night, but did you stay on the bench? Did you finish the game? Did you keep playing? How did that go, Emma Terry? Just want to know. And were you drunk, by the way, would be the other thing I would throw in.
Tooth's a different thing. You got to get it. I mean, men's league, you lose a tooth. I think you're done for the night. Let's get out of here, right? Go get that thing.
You got to shut her down? No pushing through that?
I apologize to Stetcher. I thought he did come back. My bad. But I saw that hit on the outside of his foot. That would hurt. That would really hurt. And oftentimes, usually it's not a good outcome. I thought he came back. So my bad. Yeah. But it's not just Oilers. I watch games. I see guys go down the tunnels all the time. I'm like, what? Just sit on the bench.
Yeah, if I took a clapper like that off the foot, I would just need to go find my people. I need my wife right now. Like somebody go get me my wife or call my mom or something like that. Yeah. So I think you just head back there in search of your people. Yeah. I think when you're in that much pain.
Sugar, we believe you.
It's not a stretch.
By the way, MMA Terry here didn't say he lost it playing hockey, so he might have lost that tooth any number of ways. He didn't specifically say it was playing hocky.
Oh,
he flossed it. He was flossing it.
I mean, I assume, but he's yeah.
Hadn't flossed in a few years. Came right off.
All right. Soft teeth. He's got the Schauger teeth. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by our great friends over at Timber Hoss Developments. Okay, our favorite time of the night because we get to roll the super happy music. It is that time. It is time for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. It's world famous, and it's located right here in Alberta using prime Alberta beef, available in 14 tantalizing flavors. This month's special, $85, 3 pounds of beef jerky, free shipping, Alberta wide. So think about that. $85, 3 pounds of jerky, and you don't pay the shipping. Hop on to albertajerky.com and order yours. Enter the code GOTYOURBACK for 10% off. That is Got Your Back, YERBACK. Brownie, what do you got tonight for points, buds?
Well, let's start with 55 best wishes Brownie points to Dylan Holloway. I know you guys referenced it. Scary moment last night in his game, but you got to love a hockey player. He's got the same mentality. Takes a puck to the neck. He can't really breathe great. He's feeling dizzy, but he's got a 2-on-1, so he's going to finish the 2-on-1 before he goes to the bench, where he collapses and eventually taken off on a stretcher. So 55 Brownie points to Dylan Holloway. Hope he feels better soon. He is back with the team. Hopefully he is on the ice soon as well. This one will make Schauger happy. I've got 7 Brownie points to Zach Hyman, who tonight, his 7 hits that he had individually were more than the 5 hits the entire team had against the New Jersey Devils the other night. So 7 for Zach Hyman. I've got 24 brownie points for Brett Kulak. He played almost 24 minutes tonight. We just talked about it. I thought he was the best player on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers. An excellent game. In a season where the Oilers have underachieved, I think we all believe so far in the year, I think Brett Kulak has actually played to his potential and maybe even exceeded it. He's been one of the few bright spots of this start for the Oilers season. I've got minus 100 brownie points to the Nashville Predators. They spent over $100 million day one of free agency. They're in last place in the Western Conference, and I heard you sent that out, Schauger. Very trusted. I'm going to give it a little bit more than I might have to start rebuilding. How? Yeah. You've got $100 million tied up in players that are underachieving. You ain't rebuilding. You in trouble. And the final one tonight, I've got 18 brownie points to the rink attendant who didn't hammer the little dasher board into the wall that allowed the puck to hit it and bounce out to Zach Hyman. That was a well-placed nail that he had on that goal. Peter Angelo had no idea. Aiden Hill had no idea. But Zach Hyman threw a little money to that rink attendant. He knew where the bounce was. He got it wide open net, back door. Nice goal for Zach Hyman, which I thought would spark the Oilers. Unfortunately, that was the last of the good news for the Edmonton Oilers tonight.
All right. Good stuff, Brownie. If I might be so bold, I am going to piggyback off of brownie points, and I am going to award 1,500 as well. I think we need to give a tip of the old cap to Oiler equipment manager Jeff Lang, who was game number 1,500 tonight, which is a pile of games. Yeah, there, great picture there, Zuby. The Oilers tweeted that a little bit earlier on tonight. So, Brownie, do you approve? Will you accept that addition to your brownie points tonight? I apologize 100%. If I'm stepping all over your toes.
Nope. 100%. He is a wonderful person that I'm glad that they acknowledged it for the whole fan base to see. People don't understand the work that they have to do. It's way harder being a trainer or an equipment manager on a National Hockey League team than it is being a player. So good for him.
How'd you get along with Langer, Struds?
Yeah, great guy. I mean, I really liked him. And I was there at the very beginning, because Ken Lowe and Barry Stafford replaced by Langer. And he's a great guy. Pretty quiet, does his thing.
How old are you, Strud? Seriously, how old are you? You were game 3 and 4 with 1,500.
Well, I think he said in a press release those are his favorite games to be a part of. So I'm not surprised.
The best part was the players and the rest of the staff were all walking around in congratulations Langer T-shirts today in the locker room.
Yeah,
and they had a picture of Langer. It must have been from about 8 years ago because he had a full head of like dark hair, and now he is he's like Todd McClellan, salt and pepper now.
Yeah.
And then Langer came walking in, and he was wearing one of his own shirts. He had a shirt on that said, "Congratulations, Langer." So we were kind of giving the gears over that. But no, Connor McDavid had a few nice comments about him as well. Before we let you go, Brownie, just a few comments here as per our discussion about toughness. The Dr. Carpy Zuby said, "Hey, Shoggy, I once had to get stitches, and this hot nurse was going to do it. I said to her, I need a quick second. She said, why? I said, to call my mother. I've never seen a more disgusted look." That's my point. Sometimes you just need your people, right? Sometimes you just need your people. Also, a couple of other good ones there. Chris R. says, Schauger isn't blocking a shot. Let's keep it realistic. And then the one I really like was Machine Gun Yanmark that said, blocking shots with gout hits differently, which, yes, Machine Gun Yanmark. Don't want to block a shot with a gout flare-up happening. And Brownie played hockey back when it was tough, says M. Materi. So there you go, Brownie. A little were you, Brownie, were there many times in your career where you had to stay down and trainers come out and that whole rigmarole?
There were a couple. It's funny, whenever a player stays down, usually he's not really that hurt. When a player is really hurt, he's making a beeline to the bench. And Vander Kane is a great example a couple of years ago. When you know you're hurt, you're trying to get to a doctor as quick as possible. But I did have one trainer story years ago in the minors. We were playing in Milwaukee, and during the national anthem, we just sat down, and on a bench, they're always going, shove right, shove left. They yelled, shove right. I shoved right, and a sliver from the bench went through my pants into my ass. I had to go get it pulled out by a doctor, and 3 stitches in my ass before the game started. I got splinters from the bench. So yeah, that was one where I let the trainer take me to the dressing room. I walked down the tunnel for that one.
No, when guys would get cut, I never understood why they stay on the ground. Just get to the bench, get a towel on, and get fixed up. Like I couldn't understand it. Even my teammates, like, they're staying on the ground. I'm not talking about I'm talking like a 8-10 stitch situation. Just get to the bench, get a towel on it, and get fixed up, man. Laying on the ice, you're not any closer to help there.
That's
no,
awesome.
You're right, Struddy. And when someone's really hurt, they're getting to the bench as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Zuby, do you want to tell us about that time you got a stitch?
The stitch.
Chris R was asking for it.
Oh, they wanted the one stitch story? Really, there's no storytelling required. Zuby once got one stitch, and it's all he has ever had to have.
One stitch in my whole life.
Brownie.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Brownie. We'll chat in a couple of days, pal.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
See you, buddy.
All right, that is Rob Brown. Zuby, why don't we do the scoreboard here before we head into our final break? So, Struds, if you want to call up the scores there. We'll get to our Canadian Club scoreboard in honor of the founding year, the Canadian Club Distillery, 1858. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at a 58% ABV for you whiskey aficionados out there. Some strong stuff. The highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. Full-bodied. Aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. Might be a little CC in a hot tub night tonight, Strud's, not going to lie.
A lot of info there. A lot of info. Light night tonight in the old NHL. The Blackhawks and the Red Wings, a great rivalry. Red Wings get a 4-1 win in Patrick Kane going back to Chicago, which is always pretty cool for him. And then the other game would have been the Preds again. Losing again, this poor group. But we heard earlier Brownie talked about their GM talking about maybe starting to rebuild, playing young players more than they have already. But they lose 3-2 to the Predators, and old Ovi gets his 8th goal of the year. This guy, what is he now, 33 or 34 goals away from breaking the record. So interesting too. Note on that one, shocker. Caps 0 for 6 on the power play. So Ovi did not score on the power play, but he got his 8th goal of the year already. Hell of a start. I thought he looked pretty slow last year. He's found another gear this year, and teams playing better around him. So one team going up, one team going down, the Preds.
Close game pretty much to the end there. I'm just taking a look at the box score there. Jonathan Marchessault, -2, played 15 minutes, 15:03. Steve Stamkos had a goal, 16:10. I don't know what their averages are this year, but I would say for the money and the where they're playing, that feels low to me.
Yeah.
So
something's got to give there. I don't know what, but they spent too much money. I do think bringing that many big free agents is tough. It's Brady Shea, the two you mentioned. That's a lot of people coming in the door and trying to figure out where everyone fits. Tough.
All right. That was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. All right. When we come back, brought to you by HSE Core Services, will be our Core Blue Liners segment. Struddy put an extra eye on Ty Emberson tonight, so we'll do a deep dive into his game and where we think he is at. And then we've got our Take a Lap segment and Ask Us Anything as well. Make sure you get your questions into Zuby on the YouTube stream. Lots more to come here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
All right, time to dig in on Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, from creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that'll meet all legislation and core requirements. HSE Core supports clients' operations every step of the way. Visit www.hsecore.com. That's HSECOR.com for more information. Struds, time to dig in on an Oiler defender. We've focused on a couple of opponents the last couple of times, but lots of expectation for Ty Emberson coming in. You were very staunch in your feeling that he needed to be put on the third pairing and left on the third pairing. That is largely what we have seen the last little while. And what are we seeing, buddy?
Yeah, well, we're seeing a young player trying to figure out where he fits in the world, right? In the world of the NHL. And it's not easy. So the expectations to play beside Nurse, to me, were way overblown. But he's coming along. And tonight I thought the detail of his games were there. And so, for a young defenseman, I always look just basic things like, are you staying between your man and the net? And he was doing a good job, and that showed itself a couple of times, the way he was boxing guys out. So what I mean by that is when the puck goes from low to high and the D-man's walking the line, Emberson had his stick kind of in a cross-checking position, holding the forward or limiting his ability to get to the front of the net. And you don't have to stop the guy completely, but even if you slow him down, now all of a sudden the goalie has a clean look. And Emberson was doing that, and he does that fairly well. He was physical tonight, and the one hit just stepped over the blue line. I thought maybe a little bit lucky. I think he was a bit surprised that he unleashed the hit like that, but still, he is not afraid to be physical. And tonight, I like the way he skated and handled the puck. Brownie earlier in the year talked about how he was kind of a little shaky with the puck on his stick. I think that's improved a lot. And I think a lot of that probably is confidence, Schauger. So this is a player, in my opinion, that's trending up. But it's not easy because there's a lot of different partners he's playing with. He's Stetcher and he's, Kulak. So that's not easy, but 14 minutes tonight. I liked his game. I think he's trending the right direction. I think that the risk perhaps is to move him up and to play up in a higher pairing. I think that'd be a mistake. Leave him where he is, let him get his feet underneath him.
Yeah. And I think Struds, they very much have figured out that they're going to have to pace this player and not rush him, because I agree. Like, he got so much time at training camp next to Darnell Nurse. And then we didn't see a ton of him in the exhibition season. Then they kind of threw him together. It didn't work great. He got bumped down, out of the lineup, back in the lineup, second pairing, out of the line. It was a little bit of some rigmarole there for the first couple of weeks. But a very clear corner was turned. And maybe, I think you were screaming that from the hilltops. I think we both were. He needs to be in the lineup every single night. Stetcher and Dermott needs to be the one coming and going. And they've done that. They've committed to that plan for him. And maybe a bit of perspective, Struds. The guy's got 41 career games, and he's 24 years old. This is not a 27-year-old. He's in his first 50 games in the league still, and still reasonably young.
He is. And it's just, he hasn't even done a whole tour around the league yet. There are probably buildings he hasn't seen. He hasn't seen players he hasn't seen. Point. He's trying to, and not that it doesn't mean you can't play well because you haven't been in a building before, but just the experience. And, even just, I remember my first year, you walk off the bus and you walk in, okay, where's the dressing room? Which way do I go? Like, you have no idea. And not that that's just throw your game off, but the second time through, it's so much more comfortable. Even where do I eat? All that stuff. Yeah. So I think he's right where he needs to be. He's like I said, I think he was on 14 tonight, 13, 16, somewhere in there, that 13 to 16 minutes is perfect for him. Get him in there and just let him build and just keep building him up. Hey, man, keep being physical. Keep making plays with the puck. Keep skating. Keep doing those things. And don't ask him to do more than he can handle right now.
I like the fact that they're leaning more into elevating Kulak or putting Kulak next to Nurse and resisting the temptation when Emberson's probably been the better of Dermott, Stetcher, and Emberson. He's probably been the best of those guys. They're resisting the temptation to drop him into that spot right now. And instead, they're elevating Kulak even ahead of that. And I do think that there's because I think that there's a player here. Like, I do. I think, this team needs Cody Ceci for sure. But I think there's a player here. There's the bones of a player here. and they need to let him develop, let him have confident minutes, not put him in position to get beat up every night with tougher matchups and such. So I actually think that they're kind of walking and chewing gum at the same time here. They're developing this player, and they're trying to be patient despite being pretty bare bones on that blue line. So I like the trajectory. I like where it's going. Pretty good possession numbers too, Struds, for those that like the analytics. He's a 55% Corsi player. For those of you who feel like, especially for D-men, it's a little more indicative of guys that can make plays and the puck moving in the right direction when they're out there. So far, so good for Ty Emerson. That was Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Okay, Struds, time for us to take a look at what else is going on around the National Hockey League, some other big stories as we take a lap around the league, and that's brought to you by our new partners, our friends at Acon. 150 years they've been in the construction industry. They've had some big projects too, right? The CN Tower, Gardner Expressway, like all across Canada, North America, quite frankly. They're the original leaders in heavy industrial contracting, operating across North America, but very proudly here in Edmonton as well. They got a great branch here with great folks, and we're happy to be doing business with them, leading the way, building what matters to enable future generations to thrive. Struds, let's pick a couple of spots and let's take a couple of laps.
Well, we'll start with Vancouver, and we know that Thatcher Demko's had his share of injury issues. Today it sounded like, he was taking some drills with the team. So, they've been kind of, the Canucks have been, let's just say, less than forthcoming with a bunch of information about where he's at in his recovery. But it sounds like he's now that you're practicing with the team, you're getting closer. That's always a sign that, okay, we're now with the regular group. It's closer. How imminent is it? I'm not sure. But if you're a Canucks fan, it's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, just a crucial piece of it, right? Just a really crucial piece of it. They're getting, some guys are filling in and that makes it a little bit easier, I think, when you're not absolutely getting smoke showed. But this is one with this goalie, man. Like, this stuff's been going on with him for some time now, Struds.
Scary.
And that's kind of what I was going to say. Like, not ideal that it's consistent, kind of happening year over year, and doesn't really seem to, we don't have all the details, but at a certain point, you hope for him. You just put it behind you and just start playing and move on from it.
Really scary. And as a teammate, you want the guy in there, right? And then even as a player, you're probably doubting yourself. You're like, okay, I rehabbed all summer, and then this is where I'm at. Like, you're always going to wonder. You're always going to wonder until you have a longer healthy stretch of games. Sticking with guys that are trying to wake their way back, Gabe Landeskog. Listen, I love the way this guy plays. I think I remember criticizing that team for making him a captain when he was like 15, but he was a really good player.
He was young.
And he's trying to make his way back from a knee injury that was kind of highlighted in the Prime videos that we saw. But today, Jared Bednar let it be known that he suffered a setback. Now, there's been other setbacks that have happened, and they kind of just push them, then they get a little setback, then they bring it back, and they try to continue to grow. So it's not crystal clear again where this is at. But every time I hear there's a setback or he's not going to be ready, I think the likelihood of him returning is smaller. And unfortunately for him specifically, that's got to be a brutal thing to think about because he's relatively young. He could play many years still that go.
Yeah. Man, he was such a good player, like in his heyday and made how old was he? 19 when they made him captain or something like that?
I think they blew the candles out on his cake for his 19th birthday. Then they gave him the C right after.
Gave him the C.
So quick.
Yeah. And I've I know him a little bit in and around his draft year, know his agent a little bit, and I've had a few opportunities to interact with him. Like, he's one of those guys that at 19 felt like he was going on 27. So I still think it's young, and I definitely agree it's young, but really set the tone in a lot of ways for that organization. And it's rough. They went behind the scenes with him a little bit in that Amazon series as well. And man, the guy's, he's grinding, and it's so hard for him to be sitting out. He wants to be in there so bad. And this has been a long, long road. I would love to see him end up playing some games and getting back and being able to feel it again, because he's just been an honest player his whole career. But you don't like hearing about a setback, that is for certain. We'll keep an eye on that one. That was Take a Lap, brought to you by Acon. Okay. Zuby, how's the stream been tonight, buddy? How's everybody doing? I see there's a few discussions going on off to the side, some debates. Saw some goaltending stuff going on. How's everybody doing in there?
It's a wee bit testy, but no, it's all good. It's always largely productive conversations. Tons of hindsight. We're real good at the looking back and nailing the takes. But no, everyone's good. They're frustrated for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You're getting some love. The Dr. Carpy just threw in. Zuby is a champ. Zuby is a champ. Emma Terry, Zuby is that champ. We got some Zuby love on the stream.
All right,
so
thank you so much.
The mood can't be that bad. While everyone's in a great
so.
mood, hit the thumbs up button while everyone's in such a great mood, and we'll get set here for our Ask Us Anything segment, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies, an Edmonton-based independent electric wholesaler, offering a wide range of products from lighting and lighting controls, wiring accessories, control and hazardous products, serving electrical contractors working in Alberta's oil and gas, commercial, residential, and OEM sectors. You can check out all that they have to offer at bjelectric.ca. That is bjelectric.ca. All right, bud, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go right to the very start of the stream. Red Kryptonite chimed in and said, hey, it's doing this funny thing. I'm going to read it. You're not going to be able to see all of it here, but he says, hey, guys, love the pod. I really want to know if the guys honestly think Oilers fans should adjust expectations for this season, or are we not at that point yet? Is it time to adjust the expectations for the outcome of this season, or still a work in progress?
I think still sorting out. Guys, I'm going to double down on my comments. I thought the Oilers played a really good game. Like, I really liked what we saw for long stretches. Were there some big breakdowns? Yes, there were. But there's a lot of good things I think you can build. That was a playoff style game tonight. And you know, they could have won it. Now they didn't. I know that's a problem, but they've been winning more lately. They got Connor back. You know, and the pieces are starting to fall into place a little bit. So I'm optimistic for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that you should be feeling like they're going to be hard-pressed to make the playoffs, and who knows. I think they're going to make an addition. They're going to improve the blue line. The power play is not going to stay going at the clip it's going at. The penalty kill, same thing. There's lots of obvious areas where this team's going to get better. It would not surprise me one bit if until like January, this team is in a bit of a fog, a bit of a malaise, a bit of a haze. It's not ideal, I know, but it just wouldn't stun me. But I think the Oilers, there's a very good chance, Reds, we'll be talking about them as the best team or one of the best teams in the league from like January 15th in, because that's just what this group does.
Okay, KD talking about the atmosphere at Rogers Arena, saying, I've never heard Rogers as quiet as it is this year. It's a church, zero energy from the players. So can you blame us? I could fall asleep in there most nights. I had a friend text me saying the same thing watching on TV. What's it feel like there, Shogger? Is there a Stanley Cup hangover in the building too?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like the team is pulling them out of their seats nonstop. It's not like, I mean, fans, you know, went from, you know, playoff hockey and Stanley Cup finals and an amazing comeback and almost winning. Fans went through all that too. And by the way, they're paying to be there.
Yeah.
So I think there's probably a little bit of a hangover that happens with fans too, Struds. But I think when the team gives them more to cheer about, they absolutely will be more than happy to clap and make a little more noise. I would say it hasn't been earned yet from the team, Struds.
Yeah, it's a two-way street, but I don't know how many people have approached me and said, you know what, I'm not into it yet. I'll check in January, February, right? And that's like, I think we're all a little bit out of sorts because it was so much fun last year watching and seeing the city and people celebrate. And then you come back, you're like, oh, we got to do how many games? Did you say 82 games we have to play? So yeah, I think that there is a bit of a hangover for everybody involved.
Okay, Chris R. saying, you know, we've talked in depth about a lot of the individual players, but how much of this season so far do you put on coaching?
I don't know. Could they have done things differently? Cut it down to 4 exhibition games and play your team a little more, have less practice time. Maybe you'd change it, but sometimes, you know, it's hard to come out of what they're in a fog. They were in a fog, and I think they're coming out of it. It's getting better, but I don't know, maybe a few small details, but I think I'm looking at the players more than the coaching, guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So a couple comments on that. One, I think, to Brownie's point about Arvidsson's offensive start, I think we were all confused why those guys didn't play all their exhibition games together and just boom, 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 right from the word go. And here they are, however many games into the season here, and the offense hasn't started clicking yet. So I think that's something where we all raised a bit of an eyebrow. But I mean, they can't, I don't know, the players aren't executing. The power play, an all-timer of a power play, isn't scoring enough goals. Maybe the penalty kill with the adjustment in personnel, maybe there's some coaching stuff there for sure. But like Struds, they're generating, like, their expected goals. They're generating chances at a rate that says they should be scoring way more than they are. Like, Knobloch can't go out there and bury that puck in the net for Podkolzin the other night. He can't, they're not burying Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, these guys. So they have their share in it, and they'd be the first to say it, but it's down the list for me.
So interesting that you brought that up. A few people mentioned this, but I did double check the stats. So the Oilers this year so far, 8 games with 2 goals for or fewer. They have lost all of those games except for one in overtime. But with the expected goals for is we've broken down lots of the individual players, but are we bearing the lead? Is it just going to turn around because it seems like they're bound to score more goals eventually?
Yeah, Knobloch kind of subscribes to those things, Struds. Like, I recall during the playoffs asking him questions, where things weren't going well, but the numbers indicated to him that they were going to get better. He felt that way in the Florida series when they were losing games too. So I think the answer to that is probably. I don't think they're going to be as snake bitten as they have been. I don't think that power play is going to stay as bad. And they're kind of trying to tread water and pick up some wins and do the best they can in the meantime. But I think Knobloch is one, Struds, who subscribes to the idea that if the number's telling you the chances are getting there, it will even out here eventually.
Yeah, but it's not like a Ronco grill. You can't just set it and forget it, right? You need to take a more aggressive approach to make it work. So I'm guessing he's like, yes, these players will start skating or start scoring, but these are things we can do to maybe have it going a little bit better, right? Like, or to a little bit quicker. Because I never liked that. I can't think that just come back to the mean. Well, Ovi wasn't scoring last year. What happened? It just started scoring again. It just got lucky. So I think that there's something you have to change as a player to adjust it, to finish that off. And maybe it's just getting one, or maybe it is confidence or getting to the net. But it's not Ronco Grill, man. There has to be some active work to try to get those numbers to change.
And that Ronco Grill made a heck of a rotisserie chicken. Hey, Struts?
Oh, I love it. I love the Ronco. Love the Ronco.
I'm trying not to snack before bed, guys. You're killing me. I'm trying to just.
I made a great roast. I'd make the most incredible roast. Oh, it was so good.
Okay.
So good.
Noel Rinsky says, ask us anything. They've changed every forward line a million times. Why not change 2 and 14? There was some scrutiny on them tonight. Do you think that's on the table at all at this point, guys?
One of the best, if not the best pairing last year. You're going to move away from it after 12, 13 games. I have a hard time making that move on the coach.
Yeah. So one of the things that I would keep an eye on, I'm just saying I'm going to keep an eye on this, because I do believe Darnell Nurse's game is getting there. We're seeing some positive steps from him here and there. Not perfect, but I think he's getting there. And I believe there will be a temptation with Nurse playing better to look at him and 2 together again, because you can now use Matthias Ekholm to stabilize somebody else. So it wouldn't stun me if at some point, depending on results here, if he didn't go back to that 25 and 2, if Nurse's game continues to be better. Although that kind of gives Oilers fans a little shock, because it has not gone well in the past.
Okay, I can give you 1 more, 2 more, or wrap up the poll.
I don't know. Are they good?
I think so. Well, I think we got one that's a little bit interesting here. Paulie said McDavid, I think, was frustrated with Skinner tonight. The guy blew a tire a few times trying to play at McDavid's level. Did you witness any of that, Sugar?
I don't know if I'd say McDavid was frustrated at Skinner. Like, I'm not sure. Connor doesn't wear that on his sleeve. Like 29 can wear that on his sleeve sometimes. So, but listen, I asked Skinner today about trying to play with McDavid at the speed he plays at. And Skinner kind of looked at me like, yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, you're calling me slow, aren't you? Which I didn't really mean to do, but it's a tall order to play with McDavid at that speed. So I'm not sure. I didn't necessarily see that frustration in the same way we see it from Leon Struds.
Yeah, and honestly, playing with a good player is hard. Like, it's really, really hard to figure out how they want to play. And I'm not saying it's not Connor's fault, but you're just trying to understand, how do I mesh with this player? So I would hate to see them break that lineup after one chance. I would roll these lines out again for, Vancouver Saturday night.
Interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting one. If they fundamentally feel they played okay tonight and just got a little bit, some mistakes and such, we'll see similar lines, Struds. So we'll know if the coach agrees with you or not by the lines on Saturday night. All right, Zuby, wrap it up.
Okay, last one. And this is maybe a bit too big. I shouldn't come in with like a big thought at the end, but there was some talk of identity on the stream tonight. So some stranger says, what is this team's identity? I would add to that, or what does it need to be, or does that matter? Is that so far down the list of what they need to work on right now?
Struds.
Well, I thought there was a lot of talk early in the year about the Oilers looking slow. Did they look slow against a fast team today? I don't think so.
They picked it up in the second period. I thought they started skating in the second period and looked fast. They generated some stuff off the rush. Were zipping it around better. So they showed me tonight, Struds, they can play with that pace.
Yeah, the speed is. I think the speed conversation has gone down a bit. Now, maybe not playoff will again a little more, but I think that's something. So I think we saw the identity today. I think that they're handling the puck well. They're putting in places they need to be. Those 3 breakdowns, that is a big issue. I can't overlook it, but I felt I started seeing the way they played in the playoffs last year. Again, if they win this game 3-1, it's a much different conversation tonight. So there was a lot of good stretches of hockey tonight, and I'm starting to see it more and more.
The Kilted Zombie says, take Ryan out Saturday, please. I don't think they have that option, unless what you mean, Kilted Zombie, is to take me out of the postgame show, if that's what you mean. But not a lot of extra players hanging around right now to scratch guys in and out of the lineup. Philp loaned as well as Kajula, so Oilers are down in numbers. Zuby, wrap up the poll, my friend, brought to you by our good pals over at the Brewers.
Sure. Also, a few people suggesting, Shogger, on the stream for you to have some bowl of cereal before bed. Making a nice...
sitting in the cupboard. It's sitting there. I'm already trying to talk myself out of doing it, but I'm pretty sure I probably will, Struds. God, I hate this. I'm weak.
Ro Nelson suggesting mini wheats also, if you're looking for something specific. Okay, our poll tonight was, whose game are you most frustrated with right now? And we give a few players, Bouchard, Nuge, Jeff Skinner, but the special teams was also given as an option, and that turns out to be a pretty big winner at 43% of the vote, about 300 votes. Bouchard came second, people most frustrated with Bouchard individually, then Nuge, and Jeff Skinner only 7%. The Skinner haters must be loud, because the chat was full with lots of Jeff Skinner hate. And of course, there were write-in votes for lack of offense, write-in votes for Stu Skinner, and there's always write-in votes when we have a poll like this for can I say all of the above. So there was that as well.
Very good.
And one last thing, Struddy, do you know the song Mr. Pole Peel by Weird Al Yankovic?
I don't know.
Are you familiar? Okay, I'm going to share that with you. You'll really enjoy it. That's sidebar. I'm a big Weird Al fan.
I love it.
So. Okay, you'll love it. It's a great song.
Mr. What?
Mr. Pole Peel.
What are we even talking about here?
It's about Ron
Pole
Pole
Peel.
Peel.
From?
Well, because we were talking about the Pole Peel oven. The set it and forget it oven, and Weird Al has a song.
Ronco, got it.
The Ronco, and I believe it's a Weird Al original. It's not a parody, and it's called Mr. Pole Peel, and it references all of the great '80s, the Vegematic and the Pocket Fisherman and the smokeless ashtray, all his great inventions and products that he was pushing in that era.
Right on. Well, send that into the group chat.
Yes.
Time for our play of the day. Brought to you by Gallery Dental. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience. At Gallery Dental, they provide modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants. They do so much more for you, and they take great care of you. Are you a nervous dental patient? They'll be so nice. They'll make it easy. That is their specialty. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. Hey, tell them Got Your Back sent you. Struds, what are we going with tonight, bud?
Detroit Red Wings top pairing defenseman, 24-year-old Sider and 21-year-old Edmonton. +4 today. Both of them +4 in a 4-1 win. That is a dream. That is an absolute dream of a night for these guys. 24 minutes, 21 minutes for each of them. Should also be mentioned, Detroit won 7 hits for their team. 7 hits for the Red Wings in a 4-1 win. For those
so, what is your point? Like, are you saying that I'm making a big deal of this hitting thing and it shouldn't be? You just you put the hook in, let me bite, or do you believe that it doesn't matter? Jason Strudwick.
To steal your words, it was notable to me as I was perusing the +4. To be +4 in a 4-1 game, that's a pretty nice night for those two youngish defensemen.
Yeah, I like that. You're trolling me right off the show here. We're getting a bit of a late debate happening here, Struds, on cereal. Cereal with chocolate milk, says Chris R. No chance, Chris R. Definitely not doing that. Taves DeCane chimes in and says mini wheats is an F-tier cereal. Wow, way down the list.
No, that's hard. That's kooky talk.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
Oh, really? The white frosting or the brown frosting?
I'll go either way, and I always go half and half. That and Raisin Bran, half and half.
Okay. We got a vote for honey, or is that a vote? Ro Nelson says honeycombs. He's wanting to know what Taves DeCane actually likes. Anything else? Beauty Pod, root beer floats all around, says Chris R. And Hank 809 says awesome job, Zuby. A lot of young guys aren't hitting. Hitting doesn't matter. Watch Florida, says Aaron St. Pierre. I think he's kidding, right? I think Florida hits a ton. And then we got a vote here for Golden Grams. I'm not going to say the handle because, it's an unnecessarily angry handle. But Golden Grams are good. Brown sugar mini wheats are solid. Okay. That'll be our poll next show, Zuby. Something cereal related. So let's get that one ready to go. That'll wrap the show, Struds. Thanks, buddy. You know what, Struds? You had a great night tonight. Like, not just average, not just decent. Right. You were great tonight. No hyperbole or overstatement there at all. Great.
Well, thank you. Just like I felt the Oilers. I'm telling you, if they didn't have those 3 goals against, we'd be celebrating a really good game by the Oilers tonight. Close, boys. They're close.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, S tier, the best, says Taves DeCane. So that was what we will close out on. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The milk at the end of a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch is pretty high quality. Zuby, good job tonight. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, pal. Good show.
Yep, sounds good. We'll be back in a couple of days. Thanks for joining us here on Got Your Back. And a huge thanks, as always, to our fantastic partners, all of our sponsors, including our title sponsor, Play Alberta. Good night, everybody.